Scientists says 80% vaccination will stop the spread of COVID-19. Mount Hagen begins 2-week lockdown. And Barramundis lose to Oman in T20 cricket. Welcome, this is Monday's news. I'm Kilawani. Medical research scientists says if 70 to 80% of Papua New Guineans are vaccinated, it can lower the spread of coronavirus. Dr. Sylvester Kotapu, a pathologist, says while there is no cure for COVID-19, medical doctors have a duty to educate people about the dangers of the virus.
Information there is that we need.
Dr. Kotapu, who spent a substantial amount of his life as a medical researcher, says while vaccinations are now made available to Papua New Guineans, the product information on these vaccinations is not readily available. He was speaking to staff of Nakia on the efficiencies and side effects of the COVID-19 vaccines.
Side effects for all of them, same. The major side effect DVT is very rare in all. So the only difference is that both of them are delivering the expecting the same response based on messenger RNA being produced through virus, AstraZeneca, and mRNA virus in itself, but especially that gets in fat submaterial so that it can diffuse directly straight into the cell.
Since the outbreak of the coronavirus in Papua New Guinea, many questions remained unanswered by authorities based out of the National Command Center.
About the rollout of the vaccine and the various issues associated with it. But because NACI is a very technical organization, we do have animal health doctors, we do have plant health scientists, but coronavirus deals with human health. So NACI decided to invite a medical doctor we believe can be able to assist NACI because there's been a lot of issues in relation to the pros and cons about the vaccine.
While those in the formal sector have access to more information about the spread of the coronavirus and vaccinations, those in the informal sector do not have the same privilege.
We need a united front move, and that can only happen if we are all equipped with the same information, same agency to do so. Government of Papua New Guinea is relying on that same drive, that same vision.
Following reports of community transmission of the Delta variant strain in Eastern and Western Highlands, the border provinces and NCD, citizens are lining up to be vaccinated. But while the national government's aim is to vaccinate up to 80% of the total population, not enough is being done to educate citizens on the positive side of being vaccinated, especially at the community and village level. Teklagunga, National EMTV News.
People from the Kaugera community in Port Moresby have turned up in the hundreds to get the COVID-19 vaccine as the vaccination drive goes to the community level. Janet Pongone, the acting health coordinator for NCD-PHA, says vaccine numbers in the city is averaging over 1,000 per day from the sites put together.
The advanced party was in the community as early as 9 a.m. to do the groundwork before the vaccines were administered. This is the Kaugera community in the Moresby South electorate. People here have taken out forms, filled them in the hopes of getting a jab of the one-shot Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. By 10:30, when the vaccine team arrived to set up, a line was already evident. The vaccine team only allowed 5 people at a time into the vaccination tent for a jab.
Prevention is better than you cure him. You prevent him, you banish his life, and stuff.
Come look vaccine because all beginning blooming na kaino some sal of less na mi round lo sam lo ka lo mos biso. No good mean na go back na look mol na go last so me have to see vaccine so me make him easy lo ye me kala lo balus na go back lo place.
Mi no forret lo god one lo mani bakarab mol mani. During this laman vaccine couldn't proba penalty lo beyond time lo last day. Osim so now was mi one bell you can kiss him lo okay me can kiss him wait. Okay, I mean, I am all right. Oh, Mr. I am all right.
The city's health authority says it's the same story elsewhere.
Since the beginning of the vaccine, there were not many coming. People were, kind of ignorant. But starting this month, October, we are seeing so many clients coming forward for the jab now. If you can see our sites at Vicente City and Central Wageni, all these sites are fully packed since they usually wait around 8 o'clock. And then we are seeing more than 500 at Vicente City a day and more than 250 at Wageni Central and then with Waterfront as well. So we've started Boroko Food World just on Saturday, but we are seeing more clients coming and the public is responding positively now at the moment.
For those who turned up, it was about showing their other family members the vaccine was safe.
Me sit down, lo me at since last few days ago, me look him, a debate come up lo inside the parliament, and then me realize him also, yes, me must kiss vaccine. Me must kiss vaccine that must come up. Because suppose me not kiss vaccine, I think my half the household bloom by finish one time be. So me must kiss vaccine lo me yet na stop.
The community vaccination program continues tomorrow in other parts of the electorate in the city. The campaign has taken a U-turn since the start of the exercise following the rise in infections and deaths from COVID-19.
So far, our team, NCD, we have vaccinated more than 60,000 already. And the way that we are seeing it starting last week and this week, we're hoping more people are coming on board. And hopefully it will increase our coverage for NCD.
Bradley Valenaki, National EMTV News.
Divine Word University in Madang has been in lockdown since last week to contain the spread of COVID-19 at the campus. President Father Philip Gibbs, in a letter, advised students and staff that designated areas allocated to isolate sick students are full. In order to contain the spread of the virus and allow the school to operate until exam week, a curfew has been imposed for students, staff, and the public.
As of last Monday, the university's back gate has been locked for exit and entry at 8:30 p.m., while the main gate locked at 9 p.m. for exit and 10 p.m. for entering school ground. Those entering after those hours must have a Divine Word pass. A curfew was also enforced for the next 2 weeks from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., while wearing of face mask is compulsory for students and staff and must also present Divine Word ID. Divine Word University is also advising Madang residents that the ATM services will only be restricted to students and staff use only, while the university's DY Mart and Global Travel can provide passes for their clients. Next year, students who have complied with the health measures implemented and are fully vaccinated will have preference in accessing dorm accommodation and other facilities at the school. Father Philip Gibbs said it is time people take responsibility for their health. At the moment, the university's vaccination program is continuing at its clinic. More than 200 students and staff received the jab. The university is encouraging vaccination on students to avoid developing serious complications even when they contract the virus and can also disrupt their studies. Martha Lewis, National EMTV News, Madang.
The 2-week lockdown for Western Highlands Province, which will take effect tomorrow, will also see the Mount Hagen police cell blocks closed. Provincial Police Commander Jacob Kamiak says police will lock up offenders of major crimes only. Authorities in Western Highlands, including the Red Cross, are also managing the movement of remandees at Basu Jail.
All police cell blocks in Western Highlands province will be closed for the lockdown duration as a control measure to minimize the spread of COVID-19 in the police cell blocks. All minor offenders will be sent home for village magistrates or councillors to sort out, while the police will only deal with major offences. Police will still make arrests and charge offenders, but people with minor offences will be allowed bail on the same day.
Any very serious complaint comes in, you have to attend to it and lock the suspects. But minor cases, you deal with them and send them back home. So that they have village leaders and the village magistrate and the councillors there to sort this problem out.
This comes after the surge of COVID-19 in the province and more police personnel and their families exposed to COVID-19. A policeman in Mount Hagen died from COVID-19 recently, including 2 other officers who have passed away from other underlying illnesses. Families of those who have died from COVID-19 are banned from having any house cry or funeral service just to stop mass gatherings and spreading the virus.
Just last week he died of COVID-19 and he's in the hospital morgue. I stopped this funeral thing, house cry. I said I don't want anybody to attend to house cry or this funeral place because that's where, it can easily spread because we don't know the families are also affected by the virus.
Meanwhile, the Western Highlands Provincial Health Authority and the International Committee of the Red Cross are managing the movement of remandis and prisoners at Baisu Correctional Service. Mount Hagen General Hospital CEO Jane Holden says the COVID-19 task force strategy includes knowing the status of remandis and prisoners before they are imprisoned. This is to ensure that the convicts in prison are free from the virus.
And that will allow the prison to accommodate that person appropriately. So there is work going on to keep Baisu prisoners safe as we can.
The Provincial Task Force Committee Chairman and Acting Provincial Administrator Stanley Mipe said the lockdown is a measure to control the movement of people to reduce the surge of COVID-19 in the province. Starting tomorrow, there will be inter-provincial roadblocks and the same for the districts. Those who will be coming into the province on genuine reasons must provide a negative test result, a vaccination card, or they will get tested if they fail to provide one. Vehicles carrying passengers above their required numbers will be impounded at the police station for 2 weeks or pay penalty fees to retrieve them.
So that they will be able to pay a fine to take the vehicle away according to the penalties that was handed down by the Pandemic Act. So some of them will be severe, but they'll have to bear it. So this is just to drill some sense into our people.
The lockdown and movement of people is not restricted to sick patients, health workers, businesses, companies, and grades 8 and 12 students and their teachers. Mass gatherings are banned. There will be no church services, and the liquor and betel nut ban mandatory. Vasanatha Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
You're watching National EMTV News. Amongst stories after the break, Professor Glenn Moller's warning. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Professor Glenn Moller, Head of Obstetrics and Gynecology at UPNG and Port Moresby General Hospital, says Port Moresby Hospital is stretched beyond its capacity. He says in the past 7 days, patients reporting to the hospital testing positive for COVID-19 have increased drastically, adding vaccination is the only way to protect oneself from dying.
this hospital has been under enormous stress for over 20 years now, because it was built, as I say, to cope with a catchment population of about 200,000. But now you may come up over 500,000 now inside the national capital, like using PMG or some house blong. And so we've been under stress, long time pinis. But now this COVID sick here. And we knew it was coming. We just had the timing a little bit wrong, because we didn't, it's a new disease. So how can you understand everything about a new disease before you get it? It took us a year or two to understand how HIV would affect our population. And it's taken several months for us to understand how COVID would affect our population. So we thought, looking at other countries, that the original variants, all wild strain, all kind number one COVID, and by come up in big plastic or some been come up long Italy, UK, kind place or same. But we didn't realize at that time that these original strains of COVID were not very dangerous to young people. So PNG's got a population that's 75% under the age of 30. So this demographic, kind structure, age group, population bulimia, is the main thing that protected us from a serious epidemic last year and the beginning of this year. But this Delta strain, it's much more infectious. Instead of infecting 1 or 2 people in a household in 24 hours, it infects 4 or 5, so it's twice as infectious. And not only that, it causes sickness, more severe sickness in people. And emno se mari lo liangpla. O liangpla too is a kisim big plastic, including some children, unfortunately. Now this, for me, this produces a big problem in my practice, because me doctor blood mama got bell. No mama got bell only no lapun. Emo liangpla meri. So people start looking now, or young Mary, he got bell or he woke to die, long COVID sick. Like the first thing that happened was that the COVID isolation, ICU, intensive care, the whole 17 beds became full. And then the management got the medical ward 3B turned into a COVID ward. It's 50 beds. Now it's full. And then we put another ward in the aquatic center, extra 30 beds. It's full. Then we put some tents outside the emergency department. They're also full. And the emergency department is full. Where do we go from here? Well, we're already in the car park. We're already in the car park with the tents. But we still have people saying, it's bullshit, there's no COVID, no one dies from COVID. Oh, come on. Kasi vaccine ba yun na sick na die. That's the bottom line. That is absolutely the bottom line.
The Office of Censorship, through the Chief Censor, Jim Abani, today presented electronic items including a laptop, printer and a smartphone to the Kila Secondary School administration. This was in appreciation to the 22 grade 11 students who participated in the Censorship Ambassador School program in June this year.
Kila Secondary School in the nation's capital is surrounded by Kaugere and Sabama suburbs. Situated in these well-known suburbs, students' conduct is crucial in this part of the community. The Office of Censorship, through its ambassador program, aims at grooming students to be good ambassadors and advocate on censorship issues.
There's youths around here that we want to show that school ambassadors program, through that program, for students to be, more decent in terms of how they behave and do things, and so that it can reflect back to the student, other communities around there, that these are the role models of through this censorship ambassadors program.
In June this year, 22 grade 11 students went through a one-week training. The training conducted by the Censorship Office was to enlighten the students on its roles and responsibilities as a regulatory body in the country. also helping them to understand the importance of choosing the right type of content or information to take in from the traditional and social media platforms, a significant step for students to apply on what is vital for them to consume based on moral and ethical standards.
So we talked to the students about this. Many of them through the program did not understand or did not know much about what censorship is about or the roles that we play. So it was an opportunity to really break the information down to them.
Amongst the 22 participants, Magdalene and Beauty Kumo were delighted to share what they learned during the training. Magdalene says the program has helped her to be confident in driving change in the community.
If others can't do it, then we should step up. If we step up, then we can make a change. So the program really helped most of us, because most of us were like so shy in cases of school programs around here. Now that the program that we went through, there was a lot of everyone was stepping up. There was a lot of programs, there was a lot of volunteers after the program. So the school's been changing throughout, having good leaders like my fellow ambassadors with me. So yeah, it's really good that we went through this program. I can see Kila Kila changing, and that's a big breakthrough for us, because we want a better future for ourselves, for our generation that are coming up. So.
Whilst both highly spoke of the positive impact it has on the school, they have also been inspired to be good ambassadors to their peers and advocate for self-respect.
What I've learned as a censorship ambassador that was really helpful to me was to appreciate myself and show respect and have decency towards others. And the main thing that I've learned from the program was that to be an ambassador, it doesn't mean that you have to represent an organization or an institution. It basically means to do the right thing at the right time with the right attitude and motive.
In appreciation for their participation in the program, Chief Censor Jim Abani presented a laptop, printer and smartphone for the students to use. Suli Suli, National EMTV News.
A 1 million kina funding has been presented to a nursing college in Simbu province to help in its development plan. Finance Minister Sir John Pundari made this presentation on behalf of the government recently.
The presentation was made to Kundiawa College of Nursing Principal Ali Moon, Simbu Governor Michael Dua and Kundiawa Gembok MP William Onglo. The 1 million kina funding will support infrastructure development at the college. It will also support the implementation of its 5-year development plan.
And I think with $1 million will help us to go a long way. We have a bigger plan. So let's start off at the stage. It's easy, yeah? We start now, do some buildings, put some infrastructure, facilities.
I have a development plan for 5 years development plan, which I printed already. I'm going to put the billboard up, and this money will respond to the specific, especially on the infrastructure side.
Kundiawa College of Nursing is a new nursing college established over 2 years ago. It is a fully accredited nursing college which caters for students from all provinces. In its first graduation ceremony, a total of 1 million kina commitment to support the college was made by the government, and the presentation fulfilled this commitment. A total of 500,000 kina was also presented to a primary school in Kundiawa.
Kundiawa nursing training college is a very good example, as many others around the country, of our partnership. And I was very happy with the initial developments of the infrastructures that are there. We're an indicator of public money being put to good use.
With the establishment of this nursing college, the Simbu provincial government has also established and supported various primary schools, elementary and TVET institutions in the province, and they are giving second chances to students who dropped out of formal education. Governor Michael Dua says they are committed to support the human resources of the province.
So we are trying our best to help our people out. So that's why education is priority in my province. That's why we are promoting them. We don't have any other resources, but human resources are priority.
With the increase in population and demand for health care in the country, the Higher Education Minister also highlighted the need for more nursing colleges to be established. He further thanked the Finance Minister for this support.
The demand is still high and we can't meet it at the moment, so we'll just need to continue working with our different partners that we have, and with the ministry and department, we're working so hard to work with all our international partners and donors so that we can build more School of Nations around the country.
Rayon Lakingu National, EMTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina is buying $0.2775 $0.3696 Australian dollars, $0.3874 New Zealand dollars, and 31.13 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, cocoa and copra closed higher, coffee closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, palm oil closed lower, and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher. You're watching EMTV News. More stories after these messages. Welcome back. Preparations are well underway for the PNG delegation to the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP26, in Glasgow, Scotland, which will be held from 31st October to 12th November 2021. In a media conference this afternoon, Minister responsible Wera Mori, together with partner representatives from Australia and the United Kingdom, deliberated on the benefits PNG aims to achieve at the conference, including access to the Global Climate Fund.
It is important that people of Papua New Guinea must know that we're not going there for just another one of those many trips over the last 25 years. But this time it is a trip with a purpose, because we have the legal framework. When Parliament passed the Climate Change amendment to the Climate Change Management Act,
we have to understand, in Papua New Guinea, 97% of the land is owned by traditional landowners. And if traditional landowners decide to sell their rainforest, as a government, I think we're largely powerless, all of us. So we've got to make the world understand that they need to take this seriously. Because if our landowners decide that they need to clothe their children, put them in school, pay for medicines, or they need road access, and they decide to sell forest in order to achieve those outcomes, at the end of the day, every single landowner is going to end up selling his rainforest.
I do want to congratulate Minister Mori on the passage of his legislation last week and the strong support he had from Governor Bird. This is an important new piece of ambition for Papua New Guinea on climate change, and it's excellent that you'll be able to showcase that at COP26 in Glasgow. From Australia's point of view, we have a climate change partnership with Papua New Guinea. We've done quite a lot in the past, but we look forward as well. And we're working right now with the Climate Change Development Authority under Minister Mori's leadership to prepare an MOU, which we hope to be able to sign together.
There was a commitment to, I think, 100 billion US annually. So I think that's about 350 billion kina a year. And our contribution to that is spread over 4 years, but it's 60 billion kina. So we've made that commitment, that pledge, that's very transparent, that will be verified, and we're hoping others make the same pledge to get up to that target, and also that target is accessible.
You're watching EMTV News. Trukai Sports is next. All the details when we come back.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. It was a historic moment for Cricket PNG as the Barramundis made their debut in an International Cricket Council T20 World Cup match on Sunday against Oman. Unfortunately for PNG, it wasn't the dream debut they wanted, with the Barramundis being comprehensively defeated by 10 wickets.
first one, a little chop.
Oman defeated the PNG Barramundis by 10 wickets in the opening Group B match of the T20 World Cup on Sunday.
Another chop on.
Sent into bat, PNG lost both their openers for no score.
Shot, and that's dumped.
Before captain Asad Vala smashed 56 runs of 43 balls, while Charles Amini made 37 runs of 26 balls as the duo added 81 runs for the third wicket partnership.
That'll be 6. Lofted shot.
PNG set a target of 130 runs with a loss of 9 wickets from their allotted 20 overs.
And clubbed away. This is really good from these.
In reply, Oman were able to chase down the target in just 13.4 overs, as opener Jatinder Singh remained unbeaten with 73 runs of 42 balls, with the Barramundis bowling attack finding it difficult to restrict the Omani batsmen's momentum.
Top shot.
Huxley Lovai, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather report is next. All the details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Looking at the regional weather forecast, southern region, Port Moresby mostly fine, partly cloudy with possible evening showers. Popondetta partly cloudy with evening showers. Momase region, Lae mostly fine, partly cloudy, Vanimo mostly fine. New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau mostly fine, light northeast-southeast winds, Buka partly cloudy with a few showers. And the Highlands region, Mount Hagen mostly fine, partly cloudy with evening drizzles, as well as Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Monday, 18th of October 2021. Until next time, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.